So this is the hot take, the final segment of the podcast where I deep dive online and find out some controversial opinions regarding Dragon Ball. So remember that these aren't our opinions, all right? I see you in the comments saying, "How dare you think that?" Before you watch the first 5 seconds of this video, yeah, I see it. So anyway, this person online, not us, this random person online, they have said, Team 4 Star isn't all that great. And a lot of their opinions, sadly, have clouded a lot of people's judgments on the franchise. This isn't our opinion. This is some random guy online saying this. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about that hot take?
How do they mean clouded?
I guess the way I'm reading this is people almost take Team 4 Star as, uh,
Gospel.
yeah, it's like, oh, Nappa's a good character. He's funny and stuff, and he's like, okay, maybe they're saying the characters in Abridged are better than the actual characters. Like the version of Nappa in Team Foresight is the better Nappa, and all this stuff, clouding people's opinions and stuff in that way.
I don't think that's necessarily clouding it. I think that's just comparing two characters and deciding one's
Mm,
arguably more interesting than another.
potentially, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, there's there's moments that I think Team Four Star have done better
100%.
than Dragon Ball. Um, for instance, one of them will be Trunks' transformation. Um, I think personally, Team Four Star did better.
Mm,
Um, when the music they did, everything like that, they found him how they crossed. They actually they showed because what they showed is they showed Trunks walking towards Gohan, finding him, and
mm,
then they showed flashbacks of the fight with Gohan happening piece by piece.
mm.
For those who haven't seen it or can't remember, and with the music playing, the music they did, and everything like that, that was incredibly well done. And to say that's clouding it, I don't think that's fair necessarily to Team Forza. I think they've took what was very good work and they've put their own spin on it. And whilst yes, that is somebody else's work that they've used, it is artistic and it's artistic license. It's basically what they've done, and I don't think it's unfair to say they've done an incredibly good job with it.
Mm.
But they do say at the start that they give credit to Toei Animation and everything like that, and they say that it's fan work.
Yeah, the very first thing they say in every single episode is this is a fan made parody.
Yeah, like I think that there's a lot of things that they do very well. Um, it's very clear that they're different characters.
Mm.
I'll be honest. In terms of clouding, there are things that when I think back to a character, I do sometimes think of a voice line thinking I'm thinking back for a second to Dragon Ball and then remembering I'm
It's a
thinking of a
bridge.
voice
Yeah.
line that they said. But then I remember that it's actually, but that's just remembering, like, but I still remember these are two very different things.
Because I think this guy's arguing the fact that, admittedly, there is some fans who prefer abridged and think it's better and argue that point, like, abridged is so much better than actual Dragon Ball Z, and even post like, oh, you don't even need to watch Z if you haven't seen it, just watch the bridge. It's a lot better. It's a lot funnier. You'll enjoy it more. And then yeah, you miss the experience of the actual show because the characters are supposed to be a parody of themselves. That's the whole. It's called a parody for a reason. They are a parody of the characters involved. They might have some similarities, of course, because that if they didn't, then it would be rubbish and it wouldn't work. So of course they have some similarities between the characters, but also they're an exaggerated version that's supposed to be funny of themselves. So yeah, there is some characters that are better. Like mentioned already, Nappa. Nappa is a funny character in Abridged, and he's just a big, mean, scary guy in Original Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have nearly as much personality in Z. It is
No.
true. There isn't a great deal to Nappa. He's a big bully in Z, and that is about him. And that's
Mm.
probably why Abridged decided to build him up into this big, dawdling fool
Mm.
for that exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because say what you want about Abridged, the guys at Abridged, they're incredibly clever writers.
Yeah.
It's not just dumb jokes, because later on they demonstrate that because they can do some really good emotional writing,
Mm.
and they do that very well. So I think it would be very unfair to say that it's just jokes.
Yeah.
So they're very clever, and I think, to be honest, it seems like, by the sound of it, if that is the case, that this is just a case of you just need. If that is the case of they're just looking at that way, is you just need to let people have fun.
Yeah.
It's just someone who just doesn't want people to have fun. Like,
I think that.
literally, that's just the case. Like, if you're just wanting to watch a show that's fun and having a laugh, then that's fine.
Mm.
But if you don't watch normal Dragon Ball and you only watch Abridged,
Mm.
you're missing out. That's
Yeah.
all I would say to a person.
Yeah, you're missing out. I think this guy's problem is more the fans than the actual show itself, because he's saying that they have clouded a lot of people's judgments on the franchise. But is that their fault? It's the fans who've taken it a certain way and promoted it and speak it as truth and say it's funny and say it's better and all this stuff. That's not Team Four Star's fault. And obviously, they are extremely successful and popular because they've done a good job. It's not a bad thing, you know? Yeah, like if it was rubbish and if people didn't like it, they wouldn't be popular and they wouldn't have survived this long and it wouldn't have done so well and each video wouldn't have got millions of views that a lot of the Dragon Ball like fan base have watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is that they started this during a time where Z had ended years and years and years ago. There was no Super on the horizon at all. It wasn't even close to being on the horizon. I think the first episode was like, what, 2008, 2009? Something like that. And, Dragon Ball finished in what, like 1999, 2000, maybe 2001 at the furthest. So it had already been years since Dragon Ball Z ended. Super didn't start until like 2014 ish. So there was a good few years gap by the end of Z, and like at least a 10-year gap before Super was even thought about. And yeah, there was no promotion for Dragon Ball at all. They had a few games that were released here and there, but there was not even any new films. There was nothing. There was no hype for Dragon Ball at all. It was dying. And Team 4 Star restored, even if you say they just restored a tiny bit of that hype, they restored a bit of hype and brought a whole new generation of people interested in Dragon Ball through making it funny. And then a lot of people went back to watch Dragon Ball who weren't previously fans and that sort of thing. So they helped Dragon Ball survive. Whether you like it or not, they helped Dragon Ball survive just by making these funny videos.
No, I 100% agree. It breathed new life into Dragon Ball.
Hmm.
I mean, we do this podcast and we do it because we love Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing a Team Four Star podcast. We're doing a Dragon Ball podcast.
Mm.
We've done some reaction stuff to Team Four Star. We both have watched Team Four Star previously, and we both love it.
Mm-hmm.
We find it hilarious.
Yeah.
But our main focus is Dragon Ball itself. We love them both. And I don't think you have to exclusively enjoy one or the other. I think you can enjoy them both exclusively, and I don't think there's anything clouded. It's literally just let people enjoy things.
Yeah.
And I just think it's silly to say that, like, oh, they're turning people away from it. That's just silly. Just stop. Like,
yeah.
just literally,
Content.
like, if anything, this is the sort of thing that can turn people on to Dragon Ball. If
Yeah.
someone enjoys a bridge so much that they thought it was great, that would make them want to see more, surely, if anything. Because they're not going to be able to see the Boo Saga. They're not going to be able to see any original Dragon Ball. They're not going to be able to see like Super. They're not going to be able to see any of that. And by the end of the Cell Saga, there's actually been some emotional, actual proper story put into Abridged by then. So there's actual some realness to it almost. Obviously, there's a lot of comedy and stuff, but there's definitely a lot more realness in the story of Abridged than the silliness that is at the start. So people are definitely going to get more into Dragon Ball from Abridged.
Yeah. The main thing that this guy as well needs to remember is that content, no matter what it is, TV show, film, anime, music, drawings, any sort of art at all, is all just entertainment. It's made for entertainment. That's the whole point. YouTube videos, parodies, everything is made for entertainment. It's made to make someone click, watch for a few seconds or minutes or however long, and, you know, have some joy from watching it or some sort of entertainment. And yeah, if there was no content in the world, you know, life would be boring. And anime was made as a piece of content to entertain the world. And this parody that Team 4 Star created was made to entertain. That's the whole purpose of it. You know, people who, like, I don't like takes like these because they forget the main point is that, you know, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to engage with the fans. You don't need to take any notice apart from just your own personal enjoyment from watching it. Like, for me, yes, there's posts online, people compare, people trash it, people say it's the best thing in the world, people argue their points. Just ignore it. There's nothing stopping you from just ignoring it. You don't need to take any attention at all. You could click on the video, watch it, enjoy it, put your phone down, turn off your computer, and get on with life. Why? Like, if you're that person who's saying, they've really clouded how people view the franchise and all this stuff, you're part of the problem. You're that person who's creating a problem within the community. You don't need to do that. There's so many Dragon Ball fans. Like, the majority, believe it or not, you're not going to believe this, the majority of Dragon Ball fans watch the show and then get on with their lives. They're not part of the online community at all, and that's great, because they don't need to be.
Because then you could easily say the most recent animation, Legend. Yeah, that absolutely blew up the internet.
Yeah, because it's great.
And that was a labor of love. And literally, the opening message is literally just the artist creator just saying how he did this because of pure love. However, he changed the story. He changed from what it is, so he's changing it from how it is. Does that mean that he's clouding it? Like that's not how the original story. That's not how the original story went. So is that clouding it?
Because there's going to be people as well who are saying, he changed the story too much. Why did he do this? Why is he making some new form of Super Saiyan? Why is Vegeta around already and Broly? It's too early and all that stuff. There will be some comments like that. And the perfect thing about the internet is you just gotta ignore it and get on with your life. You don't need to engage.
Like the new transformation doesn't make any sense and stuff like that. Like all this stuff. Like how does Vegeta have Super Saiyan before Goku? All this nonsense. Like these are the things. Like these are all labor of loves, and it's literally you need to let people embrace these things. And I think it's anything. It just feeds into the fandom. It doesn't take away from it. And I think it's very silly to try and stop people doing that.
Yeah, one thing I want to make clear as well is even though I'm saying just get on with your life, you don't need to engage with it. I need to also say that this podcast itself is a labor of love towards Dragon Ball because we love the show, like you already mentioned. And we engage in the community because we enjoy that. We enjoy having these discussions, talking about these hot takes, making our own comparisons between characters, making our own what ifs and that type of thing. We like to discuss, we like to engage, we like to create this content for the internet. But you just don't need to trash anything. People can have their opinions and you can either listen to them and argue back or you can ignore them, and that's the point I'm making. And it's kind of contradicting this entire segment because we look at people's opinions and then we talk about them. But
Yeah,
we have
well,
never once,
hypocritical, but at the
yeah,
same time, yeah,
we sometimes say that this is a bad take and all that stuff, and that's fine. But we're doing it as a labor of love towards Dragon Ball. You know, people can have their opinions, and never once have we said you can't have this opinion. But we can
yeah,
say maybe we don't agree with it. We always say at the end that either we agree or we disagree, but we never say you can't have that opinion. You know,
yeah.
we never say this is making Dragon Ball franchise worse by having this opinion out in the open. Like, no, of course not. So, yeah.
No, I think that is, yeah. I think the fact that Team Foster did what they did
Hmm.
to then say that its creation was wrong, was
Like muddy and
a labor of love.
clouded a lot of people's
Yeah,
judgments.
yeah,
That's what they said.
yeah. A labor of love creation is something that's taken away from the franchise.
Hmm.
I think is very unfair,
Yeah.
and I don't think they should stop. It's just like just don't engage with it.
Yeah.
That's all you should do.
And I'm sure there's people who have only watched Team Four Star who have never watched a single episode of Dragon Ball in their lives. And that's fine. They can enjoy just Team Four Star's videos and enjoy Dragon Ball in that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can't say that this person isn't a true Dragon Ball fan if they've never watched Dragon Ball but only watched Abridged. Maybe they like the abridged version of the characters and don't want to spend hours and hours and hours watching an entire anime because Dragon Ball is a very long anime. And that's fine. They don't need to. They can be a casual viewer who just enjoys little parody videos, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But saying that it's clouded people's judgments on the franchise and make it worse and all this stuff, just no. Get out of here. You're the person who's not needed in the community, not Team Foster. They've done nothing wrong. They're just producing content for people to enjoy. You're the one causing arguments by saying that they're doing a bad thing when they're not. Get out of here.
I think it's a toxic mentality because
Hmm.
they're bringing positivity to the community.
Yeah.
They yeah, and basically all they're trying to do is bring more. They've brought something positive to the community that millions of people have enjoyed,
Hmm.
and when they've done that, this person's then said, "You can't do that,"
Hmm.
or "What you've done is bad." And it's just like, well, no, they haven't. They've literally done something that millions of people have enjoyed, and they've done that through no reason other than as a labor of love. Yes, basically it's a non-profit.
Yeah.
They couldn't make money off of it. Literally, Toei stopped them.
Yeah.
So like they literally got copyright claimed. So
Like, yeah,
got took down.
they've got their own merch, but again, they've had to
Yeah.
skew the lines of what is actual Dragon Ball property and what isn't to make parody T-shirts which don't feature the words Dragon Ball at all and which don't feature any actual characters because they can't do that. So they're making money based on advertisements, well, just merch, pretty much, and then their own other content because they have another channel as well where they post gaming videos and stuff where they make money from that. And yeah, but they make nothing from the actual abridged episodes themselves.
Yeah, which is crazy when you think about it, because the amount of work that must have went into them is insane.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end, like the amount of time. So no, I think it's very unfair to say to them. I disagree.
I
I know
disagree.
we say sometimes we disagree, but I'd probably say this is the most disagree take I've ever had.
Yeah, me too. You have a problem with the community, not them. It's like, get out, leave, don't come back.
Be gone.
Yeah.